But you already kind of compared the two, Cosmos and Polkadot. If you could go deeper into the comparison of those two, what benefits does Cosmos have over Polkadot? What makes them specifically different?
So I think, first of all, one thing that makes Polkadot really, really successful is this narrative around Dr. Gavin Wood being the co-founder of Ethereum, right? They have a star founder similar to Cardano, star founder in Solana. They have SBF, right? Like they have a very well-known people in the space with millions of followers, hundreds of thousands at least. Cosmos doesn't really have that, right? The Cosmos co-founders, Ethan Buckman and Jay Kwon, they're very under the radar. They're not really very, very, very vocal and public and loud about what they do and how and whatever. But Polkadot has that star founder, and I think that's a big plus for them, just from a team perspective. From an architectural standpoint, I think, like I was basically alluding to earlier, Polkadot has this relay chain, parachain model, right? So the relay chain is basically what Polkadot actually is, right? So if you say Polkadot, you actually talk about the relay chain. And the only purpose of the relay chain is to be the security source for parachains, right? So the relay chain doesn't really do anything. It's supposed to be credibly neutral. It doesn't have a DEX running on it. It doesn't have any kind of features that require a lot of computing or processing. It's there as a security source, right? And then what happens is you have this scarcity on the parachains that pack to it, right? So you have this auction model where projects have to raise a lot of DOT from the community, lock it up for minimum 2 years, and then get access to that security from the relay chain in order to actually be on Polkadot. So, and I had Emin Gunsiro, the founder of Avalanche, on my channel, and he said it best. He said, in order to launch on Polkadot, you actually have to be Polkadot. So it's kind of very, very hard to get those slots, especially I think if you don't have Gavin's number on your WhatsApp. Akala, the team behind Akala, I had Dan Rees from my channel. He was a lead person at Parity before he went on and joined Akala, right? So it's kind of like a closed circle. Maybe that's also fine. You have to stress test the whole architecture, the whole system. You don't want anybody to use it right away. But it's kind of very narrow in the beginning. And personally, I've talked to many parachain candidates or those that want to become a parachain on Polkadot, and it's just impossible to get a slot there, right? I mean, even on Kusama, I think the first couple of auctions raised $300-400 million. Like a new startup with not too many funds, maybe a relatively young small community, they're excluded. They're basically priced out on that in that sense. And on Cosmos, in contrast, you have the exact opposite, right? So basically, the Cosmos SDK and the whole architecture, Tendermint as the consensus algorithm, IBC as this interoperability protocol, are all there to use. And the hardest thing that Cosmos has already basically achieved is to get all these projects that launch on Cosmos to spin up their own validator set, their own security model, right? So it's not packed to the Cosmos hub. You could compare the Cosmos hub to the Polkadot relay chain, but in fact, the core Cosmos developers over the past 2 or 3 years, they decided not to start with shared security because that would create a lot of scarcity, artificial scarcity, and a lot of also dependencies on the Cosmos hub. Because in Polkadot, if the relay chain goes down, parachains are wrecked, right? If in Cosmos, the Cosmos hub goes down, nobody's wrecked. So I think that's the core difference from a technical standpoint. And you already have a bunch of chains, part of the Cosmos ecosystem, right? You've seen it at Cosmoverse, lots of projects that already went live, Region Network, Osmosis, Akash, Secret Network. There's a lot of them that also have very high market caps, right? Even CRO, and they're now spinning up a completely new chain that even implements EVM compatibility. So basically, if you think about it, Polkadot and Cosmos try to achieve the same, but they start on the other end of the spectrum, right? So I think Polkadot has to go more towards opening it up, and that's what Para Threads eventually will do, is that you can sublease your parachain space to other projects. I think that's a cool idea, but nobody's really working on it. Plus, they also want to implement their IBC-like version for Polkadot, but I think it's not. I don't know what's the roadmap for it, but it's definitely not live yet, and I don't know if it's still coming in the next half year or so. So they've focused more on that, and that's fine. It worked out really well for the dot price and for the KSM price, and they have the Canary network, right? Those are cool things. On the other hand, you have Atom and CØSMOS that are now going to start, implementing some of the ideas that also Polkadot has done with the current Canary network, right? They just announced a Sega network, and then they're also going to implement interchain security. So that's a big thing that's going to come. And I think it also comes in the right moment because now you see so many smart people, smart ideas, entrepreneurs, cryptopreneurs. They recognize CØSMOS technology actually is pretty cool, so they want to launch a chain on it. And interchain security just helps them to get to the market faster, right? So you can just basically get Atom validators to also validate blocks on this new chain. And I think that's also a cool concept. It's optional. You can still launch your own chain, but also there's going to be a different negotiation mechanism. So you don't have these crazy hundreds of millions of dollars that will be locked up and get away for the project to go live. So I think that's really, really important to understand. Polkadot and CØSMOS are both basically experimental, and both seem to work out. Polkadot only just is going live right now with the first parachain with Akala. CØSMOS already has a lot more to actually show, and to use. But I think both will succeed. I'm just personally more bullish on the ideology of CØSMOS, on their approach, and very, very bullish on also the long-term value accrual for Atom, given that IBC routing is coming, given that interchain security is coming. Plus, you'll see more and more utility through something like Comdex, which just went live, UMI that is going to go live. So you have lending, you have synthetic asset marketplaces, NFT stuff, liquid staking, superfluid staking. There's so many things that are coming, and I think that's going to drag in a lot of eyeballs into the ecosystem as well.